everybody. Welcome back to the Latched Mama podcast. It's Melissa. It's a beautiful Friday here in Richmond, Virginia. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, the Latched Mama podcast is a podcast for all of the mothers out there, fathers too, I guess, who are in the trenches of motherhood. I am a business owner and a mother of 6 young ones, 6 under 10, for just a few more days. And I'm joined pretty much every week by Lindi, who is our lead designer here at Latched Mama and also a mother of 6. And we just kind of talk about family stuff and kid stuff. And today we're talking about one of the most asked questions in the Latched Mama Love Facebook group, which is intimacy. You're listening to Latched Mama Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Wirt, busy mom of 6 and owner of LatchedMama.com. Join us each week as we talk about pregnancy, breastfeeding, postpartum, and all things motherhood. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. I promised I wouldn't sing, but I keep singing the song as we've been talking about today. So actually, we're doing something super fun today. We had people call in with questions, and we're going to play their questions, and then Lindi and I are going to talk a little bit about them. But this is kind of a part 2er, right? I mean, we've done the whole sex thing before, right? Mm-hmm. It's not 100% comfortable, but it's a lot more comfortable now than it was, I feel like, when we did it before.
A little bit.
No. Lindy's still blushing over there. I really sometimes wonder, like, my husband's on board because it's like kind of what he realizes we need to do. Like, I mean, creating content's creating content. How does Matt feel about you coming on here and discussing your sex life?
I don't know. He doesn't know what we're talking about today, but he mentioned this other week. He's like, I haven't listened in a while. What were you talking about? And I was like, well, go look at last week. It was therapy.
So
he doesn't, I don't think he minds at all.
Right, cool. Do we just want to get started with the questions? Because I feel like the more we talk right now, I feel like basically the cool part about this topic, and it might make for a really boring episode, but the cool part is most of us have exactly the same questions, and exactly the same concerns, just kind of being in the trenches of motherhood and also trying to balance, being intimate with a partner as well. So we're just going to start the questions maybe, and then we'll go from there.
Let's jump right in.
Listen to the first one.
Hey guys, how does a couple be able to spend time together intimately after you have kids, a lot of kids, and older kids at home? It's really, really hard to make that time.
Ding, 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 ding. That's like, seriously. I think we got I think we literally get that question every single day in the Facebook group. So we talked about this last time on the podcast. I've come to terms with a few things. First of all, this is a season of life. Like this whole tons of children, maybe not a whole lot of time, not a whole lot of privacy. It's a very, very small season. I mean, maybe not for us because we're going to have a lot of kids in the house for a long time. But so that's point 1. Point 2 is you have to be a little creative. Yes.
Yeah. And
you got to push the boundaries a little bit in terms of, is this really private? I don't know. This is going to get really bad. What do you guys do? You guys do after the kids are in bed, right? And asleep?
Yeah, but then I was like laying there the other night and I was like, yeah, this has got to change. Like I can't do 11:15 anymore.
Oh my God.
I think there's the first thing, at least for us, is bumping up that communication.
Yep.
And being a little bit more flexible in like before you didn't have kids. I mean,
yeah.
It could be super spontaneous. Absolutely. And whatever. And as you start to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you kind of got to give or take a little bit. So maybe there's a little bit more planning into it, a little bit more.
Put it on the calendar.
Kind of like a put it on the calendar type thing. So yeah, and then I think you just have to get creative. But I was laying there the other day and I did not bring your name up because like really. No. This is not in the middle. Okay. But in the back of my mind, and I was like, well, Eric and I'm like, okay, this really, like, their name's not belonging in this conversation. But I was like, hun, like we have like from 6:47 in the morning until really like 7:20. Like
that's plenty of time.
Can we move this to that slot?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And he was like, yeah, we could probably do that. He's like, if you're not working out or if I'm not working, and I'm like, well, like the 11:15 is kind of being like done.
There's no way.
But I think that is like up the communication. You got to be creative. And I think a little bit more, it's okay.
Yeah.
If something is planned, it's okay. And yeah, but can I also add is as your kids get older, they like to stay up later. Okay. Yeah. So like even Lennox, like how old is he? He's turning 14, turning 14. So he's like, Mom, it's okay. Like you can go to bed. Like I'm probably going to turn on my light at 10:45. And I'm like, okay, or whatever later. But it's like they stay up later. Like they're not gone.
Yeah.
And I think having those healthy conversations with your kids that this is like not a taboo subject. We're all human.
Yep.
Like your parents, like it's how we had you. Like this is part of life to respect people's boundaries.
Yep.
I mean, this could be a lot of different topics, but I'm just throwing it out there that a good lock on your door and like a respect for people if if they're in their room and the door's closed, like I try to do with my girls. If the door's closed, I knock.
Yeah.
Can I come in and just that kind of thing.
So we like don't have a whole lot of boundaries to mom and dad's bedroom. And I've been thinking actually a lot about this lately. Like, should we have had better boundaries? But then I'm like, some of my favorite parenting moments are our doors flinging open and having a bed full of kids, and they're jumping around and they're playing and they're cuddling, and everybody's talking to the baby who's been with me all night, like just this whole little like family structure. But for those of you who didn't listen to the first podcast, Eric and I have sex in the mornings. I mean, what else am I supposed to say? I feel so terrible for like the nannies that listen to this, and they're probably like, "Oh, I'm here at 8 a.m. and where are Melissa and Eric? Oh, their bedroom door is still closed, but all the kids are out here. They're eating granola bars and chocolate bars for breakfast. Oh, I wonder why. Oh, because Melissa and Eric are trying to fit literally something quickly in their 15 minutes they have. But anyways, so the kids come in and out for a long time in our mornings, and we're having a hard time getting them out. And then the last one will go out, and then we lock the door. But the problem is we also have a door that goes out onto the back deck from our bedroom, which is all glass. So that's like a whole nother.
And you can see right to the kitchen table.
Yeah, you can see right to the kitchen table. Well, I mean, but you also like literally can sneak from the kitchen to that door and see my bed. I mean, it's like, it's not.
You need a curtain.
Yeah. But then the curtain's just gonna look weird. Anyways, so we fit it in the morning. We try to. It is fast. It's not extremely connective. There is normally a baby crying. There is normally something happening. But this is what I have learned. And we need to get back to questions. But Lindi and I think, might disagree on this, because I got an email last night, and I was actually on date night with my husband, and I was like, look at this email, because we had this conversation after this baby was born. We went through this, for us, a long drought, which was like the 6 weeks, probably 2 weeks prior to having the baby. We might have tried to like have the baby at some point in that. So maybe there was like some quick something. So then we had the 6 week break. And then maybe we had it like once, and then we went on like another 3 to 4 week break, which was a really long time for us. And Eric was like totally checked out. Like he wasn't really helping around the house. It was over Christmas. My parents were there. It was just all really, really bad. Like really, really, really bad. Like my relationship was hard. My parents were there. It was Christmas. I had a new baby. And this is where I'm going to sound really, really terrible. I asked him, I was like, what is going on? And he's like, I need to have sex. And I was like, with me? Like what does this mean? And he was like, biologically, I need to have sex. I need to have sex with you. I mean, because that's who he wanted to have it with. Guys, I cannot even explain to you biologically what that did to like his mood and his behavior and like everything. And I didn't understand it before, and I had never put it together, but he was a better father. He is a better father when he is having sex regularly. But you have a comment on that?
No. No, I agree.
But see, I had always connected like
I don't want to talk to that question until we hear it is my only thing.
Well, I can't really read it. Like it's not a question; it's an email. And
okay,
she didn't ask
so
a
we
question,
can talk about it. Okay,
but her statement was. So she said, my husband has always been good to me, but he also has far more to give to take care of the kids when he has his own sexual needs met. And I had never had it like it was literally spelled out to me from Eric. Mm-hmm. And then it's spelled out in this email from this listener / Latch Mama fan person. Mm-hmm. And it literally, I was like, yes, because I think as a female, I had always thought of sex as just something extracurricular, something you do when you have time, something you do for fun. I had never thought of it as a biological thing that is needed in terms of like mood and stress and the lymphatic system and everything like that. Because I'm just kind of like, if you just need to ejaculate, you can go ejaculate in the shower or do what you need to do. Why do I need to be involved in it? But I think that they might feel differently in those two situations. I don't know. This is getting me like laughing at this point.
I agree with the email. I do. And I think I go back to a lot of just when I was thinking about it, I think most males, they feel loved and connection through physical touch and intimacy. I think a lot of women, while they can, I think a lot of women feel loved through emotional connection and some of these other things and not just physical. I don't want to say not, but not only. Yeah. So I think when like being postpartum, all I wanted to kind of interject into that email, while I do agree with it, and I think both parties' needs, hopefully should be met, I think there also needs to be some grace in there in that in a relationship, and it doesn't necessarily need to be regarding sex or intimacy, but with anything, I think it's okay for at any given time, for a period of time, for one person to just not have enough to be supporting another person. I think it's okay for that person to, that other partner to step up and forego some needs. Yeah. So all I'm doing...
No, I so agree with you, and I'm so right there, but I had never thought about the idea that if I just rearranged the needs in the household a little bit, it would come fivefold. Because at that point, I felt so disconnected from him that it was affecting my ability to parent. It was affecting my mood every day. And I didn't really realize that like something as simple to me, which like it's really, I mean, this sounds terrible. I mean, it's not hard to find time to have sex. Whether you're in the, like I wanted to gift him that and I wanted to gift him that time, but it seemed like to me, like, why on earth are we going to have sex when like there are so many other things that could be getting done right now. But I didn't actually realize like how much he needed it, as opposed to me just thinking that it was like, going to an amusement park for the day. Like, why would you go do that when things feel like they're falling apart at home? But as soon as I kind of like rethought of things a little bit and like we put it back on the schedule and I realized how important it was to him, every single thing turned around. Our relationships tightened. But like in the past, I would have said, oh God, that's just so ridiculous that he needs like this physical thing to like actually step up and be a dad. But he physically in his body felt better, which is so weird to me because I don't necessarily, I mean, I do. My stress level is lower when I have an orgasm. I mean, I think that that's just a normal thing, but I don't think I necessarily need it as much as a male maybe does, or maybe my husband. I mean, I don't want to like try and say that this is like a...
No, I 100% agree with you. I just want to think of that mom out there that is
Absolutely.
Like, it's so far, it is okay.
Yeah.
It is okay to ask for a little bit more from your partner right there. It's okay to ask for patience. It's okay to ask.
No. Yeah.
But also I think it's the strength of your communication.
Yeah.
Like where you guys have got to is like, hey, I want to fulfill your need, but this isn't like 2 hours of intimate emotional connection. Like this is like, I love you. I want to give this to you. We're going to get it done and we're going to move on with our day. But those conversations are not had in every household.
No, like
and expectations are very different.
I mean, it didn't start there. It started with, holy hell, where are you? Like it literally spent, like I looked at him. I remember I had a therapy session in the morning and I was like, I don't know where my husband is. And she's like, well, have you asked him where he is? And I'm like, no, because that would just be stupid. Why would I just ask him where he is? She's well, why don't you start there? And I was like, where are you? And he was like, I need to have sex. And of course, my first reaction as a postpartum mom at that moment was, how dare you? How dare you think that that I am supposed to give to you when I'm giving to 6 other children right now and it's the holidays and stuff. Yeah. And I kind of took a step back and I was like, can you explain that more to me? And he was like, it is something happens mood wise for me when I'm able to connect with you in that way, which I don't know. So kind of a tangent. We can answer some more questions, but absolutely. I 100% agree. We should not be doing anything, especially as postpartum moms, that we're not like in the mood for. We don't feel it, but I also feel like there is a partnership here and there is a certain level of disconnection that you can feel from your partner. And sometimes I don't know. I'm sure we can have an expert on and they can talk to us about the biological things that are different between a male and a female, but I don't know. I didn't understand it. I can tell you it worked for us. It works for us when we're feeling disconnected. Like we can go out on a date and I can get maybe that emotional connection, but nothing really beats what our relationship looks like. And I'm not talking like hour long. I'm talking kids banging on the door. Mommy and daddy are coming soon. Just relax. You all are all safe. I will fix that battery, those batteries in that toy later. Not talking about my toy, like their toy. Like just go. Like give us 5 minutes. I'm talking about that kind of sex. I'm definitely not talking about like the really, really connective stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Next question.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's Rachel here. I have a few, comments and questions about intimacy, postpartum mostly. My first one is how do you kind of deal with the fact that like your breasts are no longer like part of that intimacy in your head? Like I get really uncomfortable when my partner touches them during intimate moments. I just kind of feel like they're not for that anymore. And how do you kind of approach that when talking to your significant other?
Eric knows mine are off limits. He knows that, especially with having sex in the morning, which I believe I have told everybody that's when we have it. He knows that they have been literally held onto and sucked and done whatever all night long. And they are not to be touched. I think further along into the intercourse session, that line may get a little bit blurry. And it is okay for me personally towards the end of what is happening as the hormones have increased in both of our bodies. But I was just I'm very clear with him that they are, it makes me honestly feel physically like ill when somebody other than a baby, like I'm weird when my milk lets down in general. So I don't want them touched. And I am very clear about it.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's okay for a period of time that they are
season, guys. It's a season of life
for somebody else, and it will change.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's okay. Just communicate.
Yeah. And it's totally not abnormal to feel that way because, they're off limits for me.
Yeah.
And then the other one is for us co-sleepers. I know not everyone agrees with that, but like, what do you do when you have a baby in your bed? Like, where do you go? I'm so tired of having couch intimate moments, if you know what I mean. So, any advice on either of those?
I mean, there was a period of time where I had the twins in our room, although that was very short-lived, but they'd be in a pack and play.
'Cause your kids were always kind of out of your bedroom.
Yeah. I think at that point, I think once again, it comes back seasonally and you find those other ways to connect and, be intimate. And I know the couch is tiring or wherever else you want to get creative, but it's for a short period of time. But But I think if that's what you're looking for and your partner and you need that, I think it's just to make that a priority.
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay laying safely in a crib.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
The only time
10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. The only time the latest child has ever been in his bassinet that is set up in our room is when Eric and I are having sex. So we can just call it the sex bassinet now.
Yeah.
It's literally just a safe place where he goes.
Know.
I hope he stays asleep. If he doesn't stay asleep, it's okay. He's going to maybe cry, and we're going to really, really try to make it happen. It doesn't always happen if the baby's crying, but you know what? The baby's going to cry. The baby's safe. It's literally just like putting your baby down when you need a moment. And I put the baby down, and hopefully the baby stays happy. And as they get a little bit older, I feel like they can play with a toy, or they can look at the lights, or they can be in a new space for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like quick, like this is a season of quick, intimate moments. And yeah, so the baby goes there, the baby goes in the bouncer. We've gotten to the point now where the 10-year-old can take, the baby's 6 months old now. So the baby, I don't know if anybody's going to prove this, but the 10-year-old will take the baby now and spend, because the baby's super happy in the mornings, and it's the kids' time with the baby. Mommy and daddy will be right there. You just go put him in his bouncer. You guys go read him a book or something, and they have family time with the baby while dad and I have time together.
I love it though.
Yeah. I mean, it works for us. Yeah, absolutely. It's trial and error. Like, you're literally not going to be the world's best parent and the world's best partner at the same time. It's 100% like, it's not possible. So I think you just kind of, figure out how to meet somewhere in the middle. I think there's also people who will just scoot the baby into the side of kind of the bed and prop them up with pillows and do whatever. I mean, it really depends on like what you have going on in terms of sex. We're not like the most creative individuals in the world. We just kind of get it done. So I don't know.
I gotta be honest, I'm not really entirely sure what my question is, but I know at least for me, there was like this major, I just had my first baby, and there was just this major like identity shift that I feel like that happened the moment that I gave birth. And since then, I guess figuring out intimacy has been kind of weird with that. Like, all of a sudden I'm this whole new person, and I hardly know who I am. And now I have to try to figure out like how to relate to my husband and love him and do this, all in the light of just having my first baby, and like my whole body and everything is just like totally different now. So, I'm sure there's hopefully maybe something in there that's a cohesive question.
So like, I'm getting all emotional, and I don't know why. I mean, I kind of feel like you are too, because it's like, it's so hard, because I mean, I've had 6, and like hearing somebody who's just had their first one, and like, I mean, my first reaction is that it gets better and it gets easier, and then my second reaction is like, I really, really hope she doesn't feel alone. And like, I really, really hope this isn't the first time that she's asked that question, because I can tell you probably every single woman who's ever had a baby felt that way on the other side of it.
But you know what? I was thinking back to me with 1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
She could actually put that into words. I think there's a lot of women out there.
Yep.
They can't even form those sentences, and recognizing that like, hey, I feel completely different. And that sounds so stupid. Like, why couldn't I form that? But when you're so overwhelmed with this new person and this new body, and you don't even really know what you're thinking and how to communicate to your husband.
And then you start getting resentful, and then you start getting angry, and like, because you don't know who you are, but then there's somebody here that has needs, like I was just talking about, like, but you're taking care of a brand new human, and you don't know what you're doing, and you're not sleeping, and you're breastfeeding, and the hormones with breastfeeding completely like work with and against the hormones with sex. And it's just,
I would take those exact thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have, hopefully you have a supportive partner that can and literally take those exact thoughts and say, help, like, we're in this together. We have this new baby. This is what I can form as to what I'm feeling. Like, help me, support me, work through this.
Yeah.
Don't sit with it alone.
And I can tell you, I don't know how old your baby is, but I can tell you that it does change, and it does get better, even without communication, like Lindy's talking about, because I definitely was not at a place in parenting.
I talk about it because I
or
didn't.
yeah, or work that I've done at that point where like I could have ever had that conversation with my husband, or anybody, like she said, for that matter.
Yeah.
But even if you do nothing, hormonally, your body will start to adjust back to feeling normal. You will most likely start ovulating again as you wean your baby, and hormonally, your body itself will start to become attracted to your partner again and have more drive back for most women. That is why I have a baby every 2 years, because suddenly my period comes back and my body's like, oh, wow, he's awesome. I mean, we went through a stage before Matthew where we literally were having sex 7 days a week. And right now, sitting here 6 months postpartum, I have zero idea how that ever happened. So it's very interesting how your body can change and adjust. And like I said, it's a season, but the more you can talk about it, the more I think you can feel better about it and communicate with him. Because I think at the root of all of it, there's like this like shame and like letting people down. All of a sudden you can't be what you were before. And that's okay. You're different now. And every relationship in your life will probably change because you're a mother now. So.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, that kind of new identity feeling, and I mean, really not even just a feeling, like you are different kind of body and all of that. And to kind of not, you know, go back to getting back to that old person. And I think it's embracing that new beauty and that strength and that courage, because, and if any partners are listening, I think it's a great point for them to focus on and encourage and learn about this new person you've become. And like Melissa said, I think, you know, focusing on that and loving who you are and who you kind of see yourself becoming with this new little human and this new family. And it will come back, and it may look different, but I think with open communication and, you know, focusing on yourself too, it'll come back.
The first few months to a year to 2 years, it's going to feel like a fog, and it's going to feel like you're one person one day and another person the next day. And some days you're going to want to show up for your partner. Some days you're going to want to get in your car and drive away and never see them again. Like, I mean, it's no joke. But I can tell you that it's not an abnormal feeling, and try to just kind of embrace the moment and realize it is a season.
Hi, this is Marcus Przicki. I'm love commenting on the lives when you guys do those. It's actually me and my wife Marley's Wednesday tradition, so it's really fun to get to interact with you all as you give out the new news of what's going on with the company. From the husband's perspective, what's the best way to try and balance, making sure that your wife knows that you still find her attractive and still think she's beautiful without pushing it too far, or, bugging her when she may not be feeling 100% either, morning sickness or bloated or, any of the other, negative symptoms of pregnancy.
So I guess this is the first time we're talking about the actual pregnancy side of it. But again, I guess it's probably a pretty generic question. Can we talk about the fact how cool it is that a partner just called in?
I know.
I love it. For those of you who don't know, we go live every Wednesday night on the Latched Mama Facebook page. It's a fun time. We talk about clothes, but we also talk about parenting and my cows and my farm and Lindy's family and what's going on. But anyways, so how to communicate that your wife is, or your partner is, attractive without making her feel like that you just want to have sex? Is that the question?
So I was trying to figure out exactly where the question was in that. And I was thinking maybe it's like communicating your needs, but not wanting to kind of also respecting your partner.
Have you seen those like TikToks that's really funny where like a woman's making sausage or something and the guy walks in and he's like, oh, I got some sausage for you. Or like that's my life. That is my life all the time. Like Eric can't walk past me without like grabbing my butt or like, and it's hilarious to me, but it's also like really nice. Like now, like it's really nice. Our dancing in the kitchen is like the coolest thing ever. Like we'll just start dancing. And I know it's because he wants sex, but like it's cool and I love it. But I can tell you, like in the thralls of like morning sickness, like that first like trimester, I didn't care if I was pretty. I didn't care if I was ugly. I didn't know like up from down, from sideways. Like I just wanted to feel human again. I am sure if you look back, if anybody were to log my sexual relationship with my husband, there was probably not a lot of sex in that first trimester of any of those pregnancies. But I think, yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a supportive a partner, I would say try to communicate as much as you can. And I know, like, I think it all goes back to the fact that, like, biologically they are required, or they're not required, but they're like wired. They're wired to want to have intercourse, especially with their wife or their partner. So how to balance that with the idea that there are times where we do not need it, nor do we want it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of other ways. I mean, and even with the twins, anything vertical, I felt like I was going to fall over, like dizzy and whatnot. So I was horizontal like a lot of the time, even throughout the day. And I don't know. I think hopefully that partner can show you love in other ways as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I just, you feel taken over by this little alien person, and you're not really sure what day it is or what time it is or if people have eaten or, but it, like, once again, going back to that seasonal, like, it is a short time and things change.
Yeah. When we had pregnancies, every pregnancy was different for me. Like, there were pregnancies where, like, we had long stretches where we didn't have sex. Then there were some pregnancies, like, I think when I was pregnant with my girls, I don't know, there was a difference between the pregnancy and how much sex I wanted and like what our sexual like needs were. This one we had a lot, but I think we just had a lot going into it. I think moving to the farm changed things a lot for our relationship too. So I think that we were in a season of having a lot of it, so we did throughout the pregnancy. But yeah, I think I don't know, it's interesting, like what pregnancy does. For some people, like pregnancy orgasms, for me, 10 times better than non-pregnancy orgasms. I don't know what I'm going to do now for the rest of my life. I'm going to miss those.
Like, I really want to know
there's more blood flow
to
that entire region, and like the clitoris and stuff. They're much easier also in pregnancy. For me,
yeah, but see, for me, it was almost like painful.
I would have them. I would
like I
never
didn't.
Mind. This is
getting
way
off,
off subject and way too much sharing for me. And
maybe
Kennedy
that's more pelvic floor, ladies,
over there. But yeah. Anyways, okay, go ahead. Next one before I overshare about my nether regions.
I guess my question is, like, how do you get in the mood? How do you make time for the mood? Right now, you know, with 3 children, all I want to do is sit back, watch TV, have a snack, and go to bed at night. There's nothing else I would rather do. And it's a struggle, and it's been a struggle. So I would love to hear how you would recommend ways around that.
I laugh because I like literally could have left that message. We learned that nights do not work. Do not work. Do not work. Do not work. Probably will never work.
Nights are for some TV and snacks.
Nights are for quiet. Do not touch me. Do not talk to me. No. So that's why we skipped. That's why we went to mornings. In terms of getting in the mood for it, do you want to talk about that? Okay. So hold on. I'm laughing because like this came up in the last podcast. I have two tips for that. Okay. One is it's like going to the gym. Once you put your sneakers on, your body will start creating some hormones that will make you feel a little bit more in the mood. Second thing is if you really literally can't tie your shoes that day, or I mean, I use it either whether I'm feeling the mood or not, get yourself a good vibrator. Get yourself started beforehand or while you're making out or something. I don't know. Let your body's hormones work for you is what I'm saying. And then go from there. So you might not look at your partner and say, oh my gosh, I want to like have crazy sex with you right now. But you can have your body kind of help you a little bit down the road. And then they're going to look a whole lot cuter. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not always attracted to my husband, but there are times where I'm like,
because
oh my God,
I
just woke up. Like I have literally a list of 27 things to do today. Are you telling me we're going to take 15 minutes out and do this? But then once you kind of, turn little Mr. Shaky Pants on, it just gets even better.
Is that really his name?
We have a lot of them now.
Do they all have nicknames?
We have a lot of them, not because we need a lot of them, not because they're really any different. They're all just the same thing, but all different sizes. It's just that I forget to charge them. Like I forgot to hand, like he has the charging on his bedside table in a drawer, and I forget to hand them back to him because when it's over, there are screaming kids and we have to get on with the day.
Yeah.
So they don't ever make it back to him, and then they don't get charged. So like my bedside table has all of the ones that are uncharged, and then he passes one to me, and then anyways,
Okay.
it's really intimate.
But no, I agree with you. Sometimes it's not easy, and it's not something you really want to do. But I 100% agree with the toy. Get it early. I did not find that till a whole lot later.
Mm-hmm. Don't be ashamed, guys. Walmart will drop one off at your doorstep. Like that is how they're not like taboo. Like they're not like you have to go to like some sex store. Walmart will drop one off with your groceries. Okay, so that makes them okay.
Yep.
Yes.
And I think those times, I mean, there's definitely, if for some reason we've gone for a certain amount of time, like I have this kind of like, not magical, like time number where he's like kind of like 2 to 3 days and I'm like a little bit longer, like it's a whole lot easier. But when you're trying to, it's you don't really feel it. Those toys, like they're fantastic because it lowers the stress.
Absolutely.
It lowers the stress.
Yeah.
And just do it.
Just do it. Just get a toy.
Just get them. Get them. Name them.
When
it's that time, he's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Get red." Like, just go.
God, hold on. Is your names of it red or is it just the red one?
Well, it's red, so its name is red.
Its name is red.
Yeah. But yeah. And like.
Please tell me somebody else names their vibrators.
I
We have
hope
got
so.
to know if other people name their vibrators.
Yeah. But you know what also helps is just
Okay.
some laughter. Like,
Oh,
I feel like
absolutely.
if you're
100%.
not laughing during sex, like
Yes, 100%.
like the hip cramp, he's like, "You mean to straighten the leg out?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yes." Like it's just
I think
make
we
it
have
fun. Like it's gotta be,
and that
it's
is
gotta
like
be fun.
literally, and maybe it should still be like crazy hot and heavy. And I think it could be if we were in a space and a time in our life where we could have a quiet, hot and heavy type of thing. But like the laughter during sex to me sometimes is 10 times better than the actual orgasm. And it's just like oh my gosh, we have created this crazy life. There are kids everywhere. Like what the heck is going to happen next? But it doesn't matter because we're in this together and we're laughing and we're naked and there are kids banging on the bedroom door and we're telling them to just come back later and we're wondering if they're going to burn the house down, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be over soon and we're going to laugh and it's going to be great. What? I mean, is there any other way to describe sex with a bunch of kids? Like,
or there's like a sock on, or there's like like it's just
yeah.
whatever.
It's like whatever. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
it is what it is.
Okay. Do we have any other
There more?
questions? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I guess we're ending it there. Anything else you want to leave everybody with? Here's the deal. It's not easy. It's a season. It's okay if it feels off, if it feels like there is something that is not working right because you're trying to get all of the pieces back in a line. Do not think magically after that 6-week appointment when your doctor says you can go have sex that you're supposed to go home and have sex with your partner. Do it when you're ready. But the biggest piece, and this is something I've learned from Lindi as well, is just communication. If you can literally, and even if you can't say it, write it on a Post-it note and stick it on the bathroom mirror. Be very, very intentional with what you need emotionally and physically. And, there are a lot of ways to be physically intimate that do not include the vagina.
Yeah. And I think it's like with anything else, with a kid thing. 1 week it's sleeping, 1 week, not it. He or she is sleeping, and the next it's awful, and the next week it's better. I feel like it's the same thing. So if you're having a heart week, you are not locked into that
Absolutely.
forever.
Yep.
It's going to change. Be open-minded.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah.
Just give yourself some grace. And
Eric has
day
gotten
at a
to
time.
the point now where he will ask me in the morning. He'll be like, "How was your night? How was the baby?" And I mean, I kind of think he might be asking because he cares, but I don't think so. I think he's asking to gauge whether, I mean, he does care, but asking to gauge whether like this morning it's happening or not. Absolutely. Like not rolling over and assuming we're having sex. He's rolling over and saying,
I care about where you're at.
Yeah. How was the night? Are you okay? Because let's be honest, he sleeps through, all of the nursing sessions. And, we kind of just go from there. So just try and communicate as much as you can, and also give yourself some grace. It's crazy. It's crazy trying to find yourself again after first or sixth baby. And yeah. Thanks, guys.